What is going on, guys? Colby's Tech Reviews here. I know it's been a long time, but I'm back, and I would like to announce the start of a project that I think would be pretty interesting to you guys. I would like to call it Mobile Mondays. This would be the first episode, but I think it'd be a really interesting thing and that I think you guys would like. So basically, the rundown is that I would give you the latest news on cell phones, the latest leaks, rumors, images, and stuff like that that are coming out. And those seem to be very popular. That seems to be something that I read about a lot, and I tend to gravitate more towards in terms of news. I'll still do the other content that I do, which would be like reviews, unboxings, and everything like that. However, cell phone stuff is definitely things that I'm very interested in, and that I think that you guys would be as well. So we'll give it a shot. This will be my first episode, and we will go from there. So first up, as I look down at my notes here, I am going to talk about an iPhone home button change. This might seem a little bit interesting, but bear with me. So DigiTimes has leaked a rumor about a possible iPhone with no home button being released in the very far future, I would assume, because it's kind of a staple for iPhones right now. But this rumor, if true, probably won't be around anytime soon, but it definitely could prove to be something very cool. And I'll tell you why. It could be around maybe as soon as the iPhone 7. We're not sure. But basically what it is that instead of having a home button, it would be a touch-based sensor in order to have a bigger screen. So it would be over top of the screen. I don't know if it would be a capacitive button, as we've seen on Android phones for a long time now, or something else. So that's definitely something to keep your eye open for and to listen for in the near future. Next, I would like to talk about the LG G4 Pro. Now, the LG G4 was just announced. It has an amazing camera, as we're all very aware of. That's one of the things that LG really focused on. According to a leak thrown up in the air by LeaksFly, an LG G4 Pro could be headed our way very soon. They're saying that in the month of October could be the soonest that the phone would be released. Now, this phone will definitely not be for the faint of heart, and listen to these specs as I read them down here. It would allegedly have a 5.8-inch 2K display, okay, Snapdragon 820 processor, 4 gigs of RAM, which we're definitely starting to see, we're definitely building up to soon. 32 and 64 gigabyte storage options. Metal frame, not so surprising because that seems to be the trend that's going on now. An 8 megapixel front camera, so your selfies will be looking extra sharp. And a 27 megapixel rear camera. Yeah. 27 megapixels. That is a large sensor in a smartphone. A lot of entry-level DSLRs I know have 24.2 megapixel sensors. Granted, it's not going to hold up to a DSLR because DSLR sensors are much bigger and just different stuff like that. But 27 megapixels, that's huge, especially with what we've seen in the LG G4 so far. So keep your eyes open for that. So in order to have a variety of phones covered, I do need to talk about a leak about a mid-level phone, right? That probably would fit in. So a leak recently posted by Neo Lee on Google Plus has shown some images of a possible third-generation Moto G. This would be a phone geared more towards those on a budget, or those, possibly for our parents, or possibly for someone that really doesn't need the higher end processor and higher end, speed of a smartphone and just really needs to go on the internet, read their emails, just simple things like that. So along with the new design and it running Android 5.1.1, the Moto G is expected to come with a 5-inch screen, a Snapdragon 410 processor, 13 megapixel rear camera, and a 5 megapixel front camera, which really isn't all that bad. My Note 4 has a 16 megapixel, so it's kind of right behind that. An 8 gigabyte, I'm really having trouble with that word today, 8 gigabyte storage with micro SD support, and 1 gigabyte of RAM. And we're used to seeing 1 gig of RAM on the iPhones, and they really handle that well. But running 5.1.1, I don't know if 1 gigs will support that the way that it really needs to be supported. But again, we will see. So definitely keep your eyes open for the Moto G, the third generation. So this next one actually ends up being my favorite rumor so far, and I'll tell you why. Is because I have the Samsung Galaxy Note 4 right now, and I absolutely love it. I love my Note 4. I love the stylus. I love the everything about it. I love the screen size. So this one actually gears towards the Galaxy Note 5, which we definitely know is coming in the future, probably around September. But now they are saying that the Note 5 or Note 5 Edge or both or one phone, whichever that may be, could be announced as early as August. And according to TechnoBuffalo.com, they might be pushing the release of the next Galaxy Note to compete with the new Apple iPhone. Could be a smart, strategy on Samsung's part. Maybe they will, maybe they won't do it. Can never be really sure. And this quote is actually from online, which I wrote down. While this would be a good tactic for competition, I personally think, and I'm not exactly sure whose quote this is, I personally think that if Samsung does anything in August, they'll stick to just an announcement at most and continue to launch in September, or maybe they'll push out simple hint clues in advertisements like we saw with the S6 and S6 Edge. So I did forget to write down who that quote was by. However, I believe that is actually a very good thing to keep in mind. I don't know myself if Samsung will go the route of announcing early, just because that's not really something that we've seen with them. But again, it's something to keep in mind, something to, look out for. And last but not least, I have a rumor about the S6. Now, granted, the S6 and S6 Edge were just released a few months back. However, rumors are flying around about an S6 Edge Plus and an S6 Plus. Whether or not it will have an Edge screen, that is yet to be determined. But shown originally by OnLeaks on his Twitter account, which we all know OnLeaks if we're familiar with cell phone leaks, the Galaxy S6 Plus could boast a 5.5 or a 5.7-inch screen and a Snapdragon 808. The camera is rumored to stay the same as the current 16 megapixel setup, so that's not going to change. But, the Note 4 to the S6 jump with 16 megapixels actually was pretty decent. They fixed their low light performance a lot. I know that the image processing wasn't quite as heavy, but it was actually favored by a lot of consumers as well. So that's definitely something we could keep our eyes open for, which seems to be my catchphrase of the day. I'm not sure why. But basically what we can expect with a larger Galaxy S6 or Edge, again, depending on the screen or not, and including a Snapdragon processor rather than Samsung's native Exynos processor, is basically just a bigger phone. And this could be released or not with / alongside the Note 5. Alright guys, so that about wraps up our first Mobile Monday. I hope you've enjoyed, and be sure to check back for more rumors next week on Monday. Also, like, subscribe, comment down below. This is Colby's Tech Reviews, and I will see you guys in the next one.